You won't believe what we've been through. You're about to learn about it. It's been a crazy morning, and we'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes. But our guest today is the incredible pastelist, Brenda Boylan. Brenda, welcome.
Welcome, Eric. Thank you so much.
We have had we've had quite a time this morning. We have been just unable to get Brenda's camera and microphone to work. And we've been on back and forth. Allie called me. I was on the treadmill. Allie called me and said, come over and help. And we've been working on it. And then I ran out to quick shower, came back. You've been kind of you ended up going downstairs to your neighbor's studio. You're in a
Oh,
studio building.
oh my
And
gosh. Doing
your
jumping
friend
jacks
Chaz is helping
backwards.
you with the camera work. Hi, Chaz. And so here's what's going to happen. Brenda, tell us what you're going to do today.
Well, I'm going to be doing a urban scene with pastel. I'm going to start at the beginning, and I'm going to try my best to whip right through it. It's a scene from San Francisco from the plein air convention last year, or
All
is it?
right.
Yeah. So I want to do
Still last
something
year. Yeah.
urban. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be fun. So what's going to happen now? Um, Brenda and Chaz are going to run upstairs, get Brenda's easel and pastels, which is a big job because there's a lot of stuff you got to carry. They're going to bring
Uh-huh.
it down to your neighbor's studio all the way downstairs. She's going to be out of breath when she comes back on, and I'm going to stall by making announcements. Are you ready?
Ready,
Okay,
set,
1, 2, 3,
go.
go.
Okay.
All right. Oh, this is fun. We should be watching this. Now, it looks like he set the phone down. It's been a crazy morning, and I hope you're fine. I'm Eric Rhodes, publisher of Fine Arts Connoisseur and Plein Air magazine. Some days we have technical issues. Yesterday we had some. Today we're having some. It just is kind of comes with live territory. Excuse me. We have been here 258 days. The goal is to keep you entertained, upbeat, happy, loving life, and not worrying about COVID, or all the other things going on in 2020. 2020, let's hope it's over soon, and let's hope we survive it, right? All right. Well, listen, I know you guys are watching from places all over the world, and you are in different circumstances. If you're watching from Los Angeles, you're locked down. If you're watching from California, you're about to be locked down in certain places. I understand. All of the states are in different levels of lockdown or no lockdown or precaution. So anyway, we want to give you something to do, something to have fun with, something to learn, and that's why we're here. I'm an art publisher, and what that means is I publish 2 different art magazines, 4 different art newsletters. We produce several virtual conferences. I almost told you how many, and that would reveal a couple of secrets. And we also produce 2 live conventions for artists, and we have retreats for artists, books for artists, products for artists, all kinds of things. And I'm an artist. I'm working full time as a publisher, but I do work and paint, and I was painting till midnight last night, trying to get a painting out to a gallery for Christmas, but I destroyed it, and now I'm starting over. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm watching. We'll see here what's happening over here. Just getting a little update. They're still setting things up. Oh well, they're making progress. All right, well, I'm going to take them off and make some quick announcements. So a couple of things. First off, thank you to everyone who's been giving me all these positive kudos. The California Art Club Award. If you didn't see it, it's on Facebook, on my Facebook. That was really cool to get their top award. And thank you. I'm really humbled for that. I want to also thank everybody who signed up for Watercolor Live. We're almost at 1,300 people now, and it is booming. And chances are you watercolor people, or you people interested in watercolor, are going to eclipse all the other virtual conferences. Now, you haven't done it yet, but there's still a couple of months to go. And chances are this is going to be bigger, and watercolor is going to rule. Now, we're getting a little competition going here. So anyway, so today we have a prize. The winner of the value specs that I announced yesterday, Sharon Lazaro Wiz, I'm sorry, Sharon, from Colorado. Anyway, we'll be sending those out to you, Sharon. Today, our prize is a digital subscription to Plein Air Magazine. Plein Air Magazine is the #1 selling art magazine in America on the newsstands. We're really, really happy about that. It's been going on for many, many years, and we're just thrilled. And of course, this year we didn't sell a lot of anything in the newsstands because they were closed. But so we'll see how that all works out. But it's going very well. And Michael's just announced to us a few months ago that they've picked us up, and we're now in many Michael's stores. And so if you haven't seen Plein Air Magazine, it's a beautiful magazine. This is not the current cover, but this is the most recent before that. And the digital edition has 20% more content, more images, more stories, more of everything that you'll find in the magazine, which is designed for artists and collectors. This is the one art magazine, probably why it's so successful, is it bridges that gap between artists and collectors. We have another magazine for collectors. It's called Fine Art Connoisseur. And a lot of artists get it and read it, but we don't have any how-to in it. In the plein air world, a lot of people go around and they go to plein air events and they watch people painting on location. They have auctions and shows and so on. As a result, the people interested in buying plein air paintings or the collectors are very engaged in the process. And that's why Plein Air Magazine is so popular, is because we talk not only about the events and the shows, mostly about paintings, about the process. You know, there's a little bit of everything in there. And that's been very successful. And it's been really terrific because we've learned that a lot of plein air painters are also collectors, and a lot of collectors are becoming painters. And as a result, they buy a lot of paintings, which is pretty cool. So that's really nice. Anyway, that's our prize for today. Want to remind you guys that we are now at, we're going to Russia. We have a 47-person limit. We're trying to figure out if we can get another series of hotel rooms and buses, but we don't think we can. It's not looking like it. So we're at 35 sold out of 47. So there's 12 more slots. And I know a couple people I've heard from who are on the fence, but it's 2 weeks in September. Go to paintrussia.com and you can learn all about it. There's a complete deck in there that talks about every day what we're doing, all the exciting things, you know, like river cruises through St. Petersburg and Moscow, but also tours of the museums. We have private entry into the Hermitage. We're going to be painting in these beautiful cities, but also in the small countryside villages. I need to pull in some photos of some of those villages where I've painted. It's just pretty incredible. And it's a lifetime memory. Some of my best memories are coming from Russia. And you'll feel perfectly safe. The people are wonderful. They're warm and really, really giving people, and not at all like you see in the movies. Now, anyway, that's the story on Paint Russia. We will be doing the plein air convention in May, God willing, and the creek don't rise, right? We don't know if the COVID will rise or not, but the plan is May 23rd through 27th. It's a massive convention, and everybody's going this year because they're like, all right, I got to get out. As long as it's safe, as long as vaccinations are in place, whatever, then they're planning on going. So that is something that we're all looking forward to. If you're looking for ideas for Christmas, if you go to streamlinepublishing.com and hit everything, or you go to our store, if you go to any of our websites and hit the button store, we got a lot of things that might be good for you to give as hints, or for others. But this kind of shows everything that we do. Streamlinepublishing.com, everything. Tell you about a couple other things. First off, we have a Marketing Minute podcast. We do this every week, and it's basically tips and ideas on marketing your art. It's really short. It's usually about 5, 10, 15 minutes. And I try to answer questions about marketing. So we take on a couple questions every week, and that's also at the tail end of the Plein Air podcast. So it's separate. It's a separate podcast on its own, but it's also at the tail end of the Plein Air. And we made a decision yesterday. We're about to launch a third podcast. So stay tuned for that. If you're looking to figure out your 2021 strategy, start with this book, Make More Money Selling Your Art, Proven Techniques for Turning Your Passion into Profit. #1 bestseller on Amazon. You can order it at artmarketing.com/book. That way we get to keep more of the money. Otherwise, Amazon takes about 30%, but you can get it on Amazon too. We don't mind that. Whatever makes it easy for you. Okay, now the big thing, a big announcement is that we just had a new addition to the faculty of Watercolor Live. I think this is the last one. I think that this is Antonio Massi, the great watercolorist, and this is a real wonderful opportunity to have Antonio Massi, and he is the head of one of the great watercolor associations. And we also have an incredible lineup of other artists, including Glenn Knowles, Larry Moore. Larry's going to be, I believe, doing a gouache demo. Shuang Lee, Birgit O'Connor, Ian Stewart, Angus McEwen, Daniel Marshall, Thomas W. Schaller, Andy Evenson, Stephen Zhang, Suni Warren, Pablo Rubin from Spain, Matthew Bird, Lauren McCracken, Mario Robinson, Keiko Tanabe from Japan, Joseph Zbukvich from Australia, John Salminin, Gene Peterson, Kim Minichello, and of course, Brenda Swinson, Michael Holter, and Linda Daly Baker. So that's called Watercolor Live, and you can get your seats. There's still a lower price that you save up to $500. Get in before January 10th. Get registered. Makes a great Christmas present. A lot of people are buying it for Christmas for their kids or their friends. It's a reasonably priced. It's 4 days total with the beginner day. You can get the beginner day separate by itself, or you can go for the whole enchilada. And there are replays available, different lengths of replays. So if you can't make the dates, you can make the replays. I'm just saying, you can watch it on the weekends or nights or whatever. A lot of people are watching them over and over again. Now, tomorrow, well, first off, today at 3 p.m., our 3 p.m. video segment on YouTube and Facebook is a tutorial called Bold Brushstrokes in Confident Color from Lori Putnam. That's today at 3 p.m. Make sure to check that out. You'll be able to get a discount on her video that we always offer on the day of broadcast, and you'll get a chance to see how she paints this image. All right. Now, tomorrow's guest is going to be Nancy Boron, and you'll love seeing Nancy Boron. But first, we want to get to today's guest, and let me just show you a couple of images. You'll get a chance to see what Brenda Boylan can do. Just an incredible spirit, an incredible painter, lots of fun. We're going to tell you a story in a minute about right before going to Cuba together. And just absolutely lots of variety in terms of styles of work, just very free and really, really beautiful work. Please welcome Brenda Boylan. Are you out of breath?
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Our connection is spotty. We didn't get a sound check last week, so we're up against the wall right now, and I hope you can follow along as best as possible with me. If you can keep up with me.
You sound great, and I'm impressed that you even have a black background. That's pretty impressive.
Hey, my studio neighbor Chaz Martin, I couldn't have done this without him. So he's a sculptor, and he's phenomenal. And I got to give him a lot of credit, Eric.
Okay, well, maybe if we have a little time, we'll get to meet him and get to see a piece of his work or something. All right?
Yeah. Maybe we'll have his sculptures walk across the screen when we're all done.
Yeah, just an occasional infomercial. So Brenda and I, Brenda were you on our first or second trip to Cuba?
I couldn't hear that last part, Eric. I'm sorry.
Which trip to Cuba were you on?
What am I going to do today?
Well, that'll work.
What you're wanting to know? I'm going to be doing a pastel scene from San Francisco when we were there for the plein air convention. And when I first arrived there, I got there a couple days early so I can explore the city. And I walked a good 8 miles the first day with my friend Michael Orwick. And he'll be, I think, in the plein air convention, or he has a couple times with you. Anyway, he and I are good buddies, and we walked around. and I'm totally filling up my camera with imagery, and it was an exciting trip, exciting city. And so anyway, I'm going to do a urban scene from that trip. And because I had to move my easel, or my pop-up easel, into Chaz's studio, I don't have my reference photo. So I do have a sketch, and I know what I want to do in my mind. And so hopefully we can go from there. Now,
Okay,
hopefully I can
good.
hear you, Eric.
All right, well, let's get started.
Okay. All right. Where do I start? Anyway, here's my sketch. And that's a cable car. Actually, it's a trolley in at the final stop of in San Francisco, over by the wharf. And the trolley was this muted green color. I'm going to change the trolley to be red, because the background will probably be grays and blues and greens. And I want to offset the trolley as being more the focal point. So I also put the trolley in an area, if you do like a tic-tac-toe on your scene, on your panel, then you put your focal point in one of the four crosshairs. So that's what I did with my trolley. It's hard doing this backwards. And I'm going to stick this next to my piece, hopefully here. And so what I did is I started out, let's see, can you see this? Does it need to be closer?
All right.
Hopefully, can you hear that? See that?
Yep.
A little bit closer. Okay. Zoom in a little bit more. All right. So, what I love to do is start out thin to thick, or start out with a thin marking of pastel. And I'm working on a sanded paper that's mounted, and the sanded paper is made by UArt. I love a coarse grade, 320 to 400, maybe not 400, but mostly 320. And I know that Bill Cohn and Kim and all the other pastels that you've shared online like different types of substrates. I like the chewy kind. I like the coarseness of it. I love how the underneath colors, how the underpainting pokes through and peeks through and makes the ultimate color vibrate or mixes with the eye. So that's kind of where I come from with my work, is I like these layers, thin, transparent layers of pastel, and then I build up and add the harder, heavier marks. So that's where the excitement comes in, is towards the end, of course. So what I've done here is I've put just a sketch in, and I'm going to start out with, let's see, I think I have most of my colors down here. Let's see. And I use the side of my pastel like a paintbrush, like a flat brush, and I just applied in there very softly. And what
Can
I'm
we
going to
zoom in a
do,
little closer to the canvas?
can we? Okay, let's get, how's that?
Close. Yeah, we can't see part of it. Yeah, that's better. A little closer
Oh,
wouldn't hurt.
okay. This table won't move.
There's no room between the camera.
Okay. All right. That works.
We're gonna have to wing it, Eric, because that's how we're flying today.
Okay.
All right. So I have a little spray bottle. You can use an old hairspray bottle or a mister, and I fill it with a denatured alcohol. And I use alcohol when I'm plein air painting for pastels, because the alcohol dries really quickly. So I'm going to spray this thin layer of pastel onto the sanded paper, and hopefully it'll spray correctly. It's not spraying correctly. It's dripping. Everything about today is going to be an experiment, obviously. Okay. So what I was trying to do here was put yellow into the sky because I want it to be a beautiful sunlit sky. And so I'm going to use a foam brush to blend that underpainting into the sky portion. And I'm starting with the lighter values first. And get that down in there. Okay, and then I'm going to go to, I put red into the area where the trees will be because I want the red to show and neutralize the green of the trees, which it'll be in the end. So you're kind of like planning this stuff out long before you hit the easel. If you plan, then you succeed. If you don't plan, then it just kind of falls apart. Any questions yet?
You're doing a great job.
I am.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can hear you now.
All right.
So far, so good?
Is this, what kind of pastel is this? Soft pastel?
Yes, soft pastel. And soft pastel is made from pure pigment, and it's bound with gum tragacanth. And pastels are extremely pigment loaded. Like oil or acrylic or watercolor, there's a binder in them, but in pastel we use or pastels have very minimal binder, so it's pure pigment. And the more gum tragacanth that you put into your um, pastel pigment, then the harder the pastel will be. So for sketching, you can use the harder pastels, and then as you go on further into the piece, you use the softer ones. For me, I use soft all the way. Um, every artist has their unique way of creating. It's kind of like having your own signature. You learn how to write, you learn how to cursive, and then it becomes your own style. So that's what happens with art, and that's what I love about discovering pastels is that as you can tell, my work kind of goes all over the place with it, but you can tell the signature excitement in my work. Anyway,
I'm curious why you keep a color wheel right there. You've obviously been painting a long time. You already know the color wheel. Is this something that you refer to a lot?
yes, Eric, I'm glad you asked. So this color wheel, what I do before I even start out with my work is I love color theory, and I'm not a theorist at all, but what I love to do is try to decide before I even start kicking into the painting what are my strongest colors in the painting. And I don't know why, but I love to have a complementary color scheme. And this is a split complementary with the green blue and the blue across from red orange. And I want to pick one of those to be the dominant color. We'll see if that happens today. But anyway, so what I did is I selected that color wheel, and then I went and I looked in my pastel set, and I did kind of a little selection of colors that I'd love to have in my painting. And these are the dominant colors that'll be the base for the painting.
All
And then
right.
of course there'll be other colors that I add along the way, like of course a red light or a green light that will be in the scene, or something else. So that's the story behind that. I love to do that. It kind of sets the stage for my work, and other times I just kind of go off the stage and I just do what I want. All right, so here we go. Need to add a little more alcohol for this. Let me get that off. I'm milking my I knew that was going to happen.
More alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you knew it was going to happen, why'd you do it?
Well, it's because I don't have all my tools in front of me, Eric.
Ah, yes, like paper towel, for instance.
Yeah. So we're doing the best we can here today,
In
given the
case you just tuned
circumstances.
in, Brenda had to move to a studio downstairs at a neighbor's to be able to get the internet to work. So she's a good sport. She brought everything that she could downstairs.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Well,
No fault to
well, I
me.
was telling people that we had a story when you and I went to Cuba
Oh God.
right before the night before. Tell them what happened.
Oh gosh. The night before, uh, we're flying out to Miami from Portland, and my husband and I had spent the night at the airport so we could just get up and get going. And I had put my insulin in the refrigerator at the airport hotel, and we left without my insulin. And as we're on the tarmac in Houston, I started freaking out because I forgot my insulin. So as soon as we landed in Miami, we were on an emergency hunt for insulin because I'm type 1 diabetic. And that would have been surely a mystery to handle Cuban insulin for me. So it was interesting. But you know what? There was no drama, right, Eric?
No, we drove you all around Miami until we found something at like 9 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah, I was exhausted by the time I got to Cuba because of the stress from all of that. I swear, it's like I plan so much in advance for everything that I have to do. And there's always something. It seems that for the most part, like today, this is nothing, Eric.
Well, you handled the
So,
stress beautifully.
oh, thank you. You know what? Life is too short to be miserable, right?
Yeah. So you've got a great attitude. So what you're laying down pastel on top of the yellow, which obviously must have dried already.
It did. So the alcohol allowed melted the pastel that I put on the pastel glaze, and the alcohol dried it up. It mounted it or sealed it into the sanded paper, and so now I'm laying down in a really light layer of blue pastel, the color that I want for the sky. And I'm allowing the yellow to peek through, which will kind of gives it a green hint, but
Yeah.
it also gives it this sense of light.
Yeah.
And so it sparkles. And I'm not laying that pastel in really heavy. Like I said, I lay things in like a feather,
Yeah.
just lightly touching. And then as I go on, it gets heavier. So I pretty much filled in the area there of the sky. And let's see here. Here's my sketch. So I need to get the background trees in, or the background area. I don't have my reference photos, so I'm just gonna do this as we go.
That's okay. That's
And
fun. That's fun. And so you're doing the same thing, laying color over color.
yeah. So I've got this beautiful. Oh my God, I love this color for urban scenes. Um, it's a gray blue, and it just says everything metal and steel. I just absolutely love this gray blue
Who
color.
makes it?
This one's it's a Jack Richardson color. I have my own pastel set, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
Um,
You do. I forgot about that.
yeah. So Jack Richardson, I've got two sets. I've got one for Northwest Pastel plein air, and then I have one for a starter kit.
And we find those on your website?
Yeah, you can find them on my website, which is brendaboylan.com. And
We have it
you
on the
can
screen.
find all the, yeah. So there is where I have my pastel sets. So thank you for allowing me to say that, Eric. There's a lot of competition out there.
We're all in the same
So
family together. It's all right.
yeah,
Hey,
we're
I even
working
put
it.
my competitors on the air. I don't care.
Oh,
I
wow.
have a sense of abundance. There's plenty for everybody.
Yeah. And not everything is meant for everybody anyway. We're all individuals, so we have our own preferences, right?
That's right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's see here.
So you've really made
Get
those
another brush.
vehicles stand out.
Yeah. I'm going to just kind of like glaze in a couple of shapes in here. And I'm going to put in, now that, okay, so the background is dark, but I'm going to put some of the sky color over these distant hills here with this blue, and this is where the layering fun starts to happen. So the sky influences, and the atmosphere is in between those trees in the distance, and where the viewer is. So trying to get this in nicely. So anyway, the sky color goes over that beautiful gray that I put in for the distant hill, and then I'm going to do that a little bit more with a gray over the green trees that are in the distance here, so it has that sense of atmosphere on them as well, and maybe even on this building, just a hint. That looks decent.
How fun.
And then I have, yeah, it's very forgiving medium. Now I'm using the end edges of my pastel, and you can kind of do that. We can do some sketching. I'm just doing some scribbles. This is the highlight where the sun's hitting the top, and you can also use your finger to blend a little bit.
What kind of paper is
However,
that? Is that a sandpaper?
yes, it's a sanded paper. It's made by UArt, and UArt is, it's so versatile because you can do a wash over it. It handles liquids, an oil wash or liquid, it holds it. And I mount it to a board. Well, that looks like a mess. That's okay though, right?
Yep.
Let's see here. I'm going
Somebody
to
said your
reshape.
pastels are on sale right now. You must have a Christmas
They
special.
are. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from my students in the past. They say that they absolutely love them. So no kidding you. I also love Terry Ludwig pastels as well.
Uh-huh.
So these are comparable to Terry Ludwig, and he's a fabulous supporter and manufacturer of pastels too. So we all kind of have our faves.
That's good.
Okay. All right. And ooh, I think I'll use my left hand. Oh my God. Let's see. Let's get some.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
get a
put
shadow
in.
you get a shadow in there. We can't see what's going
Okay.
on. There we go.
How's that? That a little bit better?
That's better. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm putting in some tree trunks. I hope this is turning.
So it's Judson's Art Supply. Judson'sArt.com has a 80-piece starter set with your name on it that somebody just put the link in there.
Oh, thank you so much. Love you for doing that. So in this area here, in the original image, there were people walking on the sidewalk here. So I have to remember, I'm going to have to dust that off. So if you have an area that you've put pastel on and you want to remove it, you can take your foam brush, your dry one.
Is that just
which
one of the
mine is not
foam
dry
brushes that
anymore.
you'd pick up at a paint store?
Yep, 50 cents. I'm going to use
Just
my
pure
apron
foam.
because pardon?
Just foam, just a rubber foam.
Yeah, the cheapie. They're cheapie. You can see this one's kind of chewed up,
Yeah.
but you can erase with just the tiny little corners of it and remove some pigment with just that, or you can remove it, the whole side, and then of course they wear away. They break up, and you just get another one. Love them.
Awesome.
Now I'm going to soften this highlight where the highlight of the sun is hitting the tops of the trees. I'm going to soften those with my finger so that they look more farther in the distance. Everything in the distance should be blurrier. And my focal point, of course, will be the trolley. Okay, now I'm going to put in the street color. I'm going to put in, I'm going to start out with just a little bit of pink because I want it to be like a pinkish gray. And I'm going to hopefully make that happen here. So I'm going to do that with blending lightly, not with my finger though. I'm going to just have to use the pastel to do the blending. And my style tends to be, I like the broken color. I love to keep that broken color. And sometimes I'll accidentally overwork a piece and I'll have to go back, erase, and then do broken color. Just mindfully, trying to be careful about try to keep that broken color in there. Now this is the sidewalk here. Now I'm going to use an orange, a pale orange, on top of that concrete. Now this concrete in San Francisco is old stuff, and it was in California. They have a lot of concrete roads instead of asphalt. For some reason, they have concrete instead, which gives it a whole different kind of ambiance.
It has something to do with earthquakes. I don't know.
Oh boy. I grew up in California, so I know what that's all about. Okay. Here's a tool that I use when I'm plein air painting. I get one of these little plastic T-squares, and they're lightweight, and I put it on the top of this so I can get my angles correct. You see how that runs? Sometimes you don't really have to worry too much about the angle of anything, but for the street poles, I'm going to go ahead and fill these in.
Well, and if you're putting something in a
up.
frame, if it's not straight, it's going to stand out.
Yeah, but it also, if your style is to be a little lopsided, like I tend to be, I let things just happen. It just depends on where I'm at with my work, and where I'm at physically, the energy. As you can see, this just looks so unfinished right here, but I'm going to try and get this in just to give that. You have to line that up. And actually, I think these poles were a little uneven. Let's see here. Also, too, if you don't have a T-square, I take my pinky and I put it against the edge of the painting, and I just line this. I line it straight down like that, and that really solves the T-square issue. I'm going to thicken this up a little bit. You getting any questions out there, Eric?
I'll check one more time here. When you're finished with your painting, do you have to do anything to preserve it before framing it?
Yes, and I'll show you. Use a product called glassine,
Glassine.
and yeah, it's like a tracing paper, but it doesn't have a tooth. And I usually roll this up in my backpack if I'm plein air painting, and I'll put it on top of it, and I'll rub my hand on the glassine over the pastel painting, and that knits the pigment into the tooth of the paper.
Huh.
And then, of course, you frame it with glazing. The unfortunate part about pastels is that you have to have it protected. There's no other way to do it. If it gets exposed to to someone touching it, then it's a mess.
I was talking to a friend yesterday who owns 2 John Singer Sargent paintings. And we were talking because he was asking my advice on what to do because some kid visiting his house poked one of them with his fingers and left indentations on it.
Oh, that's awful. What'd you tell him?
Thankfully, it's just a matter of spraying the back with a water bottle to make the dimples go out, I think. But got to do it with a proper restorer when you're talking about $1 million painting.
Yeah, boy, I bet he's not going to be invited back to his house.
I've had that
when
happen.
Johnny came over?
I'm sorry?
Remember when Johnny came over and touched the sergeant?
Oh, yeah. I have one of those memories in my own house. I had a very rare antique radio because I used to collect them. And my cousin's kids were staying with us for about 6 months. And one of them, not knowing, I mean, they were little, they just put his finger right through the speaker. It took its value from high to low very quickly.
Oh my God. That would be horrible, Eric.
That wasn't horrible. Nothing is horrible.
Time?
What?
How am I doing on time?
You got about, I'd say about 12 minutes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're doing all right.
You're doing great.
Good.
So what are you doing now?
Now, like I said, I'm doing this from memory.
I know.
I didn't do a tester before going on screen. I just said, I've done this kind of stuff before. I looked at it quite a bit, and I sketched it out, like I said. Oh, that was a little bit wobbly looking there. So who's left any messages on there? Any comments?
You don't really want to know them. I'm trying to protect your self-esteem. I can't possibly read them. Joking. I'm joking. Yeah. Hi from Italy, from Elisso. What do you use for glazing over pastel? You just glass? Is it non-glare glass?
Yeah, clear glass. I love to use an archival museum glass, or there's another product. Oh, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now.
Do you use a fixative when you are done with the painting?
No, I don't like fixatives because for me they lose it may help your pastel loses its glisten, and that's just like the beautiful part of pastel is that glisten, and what it does is it just melts it. The fix melts it, but some artists, they prefer it and some artists don't. I don't like the fix.
Yeah, so it would be similar to when you spray the alcohol on the yellow. It kind of puts it into the pores of the paper.
Yes, exactly. And that's not like a real good thing. You don't really want that to happen. um, with your pastels, because I mean, who's the I'm failing on my words right now. The artist who oh, help me here, Eric.
I don't know what you're
Um,
talking about. I'd help you if I knew what you were talking about.
the artist, oh God, I'm totally blanking on him. Anyway, they didn't have fix back then.
Oh,
So
you're talking about a
when
historic artist. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So I'm trying to put that shine down, that sheen down on this. Anyway, my friend
So you kind of
Chaz,
create, talk about how do you create that glow on the corner? Exactly what do you do there?
well, I'm taking my a lighter pastel, and I started out with the orange, which is closer to the red, and yet it's getting hit by the light above from the sunlight. And so I glazed that on top of the red, and then I'm using the yellow, and then where the highlight is going to be, I am going to put yellow there, right here.
So lay the light on last, the lighter color on last.
Yeah, you don't want to do light underneath dark. You want to have dark down first, like you do in oil painting. So I got to get some of these other colors in here real quick, because I know we're probably getting close to
8
the
minutes.
end.
You got 8 minutes.
Okay.
Ah!
Well, when you're doing this kind of on the fly, Eric, as you know, we started out.
Well, nobody
You
gets a painting done in this amount of time, typically.
Oh, well, okay.
So don't feel any
Also,
pressure.
too, something that I love to use. Sometimes I love to use odd colors. As long as the value is correct, then the painting will still read. So that's always a good thing.
Somebody said an artist told her that hairspray works as a fixative. She hasn't tried it yet.
It does. Yeah, hairspray. Hairspray works as a fix. I'm putting the back window in a little bit here. And then I remember
I
this
remember
bus
the 80s.
had.
I remember the 80s using hairspray. I can't even imagine doing it now. Don't want
When
that in
back
my
when you were
lungs.
doing, back
Back
when
in
you were
the
staying alive.
back in my disco, I had a white double knit suit, platform shoes, shiny shirt.
Do you remember the print pattern on your shiny shirt? Was it solid, or did it have
It
things on it?
it was a brown shirt with eagles on it, and I had puka shells.
Oh my God, you had some of those too. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the thing. Puka
That
shells.
was my stage outfit because I had to go on stage at rock concerts and introduce bands.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have to drum up one of those pictures.
Oh my gosh. That would be actually quite funny to see. So I bet everybody's
Gabrielle
just
says, I use fix on the beginning of the painting, but not on the final. That way she can get the lights in so that they, let's see here. It says, but not on the end when the brightest, well, the comments keep moving. When the brightest lights get to put on as the lights will meld into the darks. Also fix under will bring back some tooth if you need it. That's interesting. Thank you, Gabrielle.
very good.
Yeah.
Thanks for
We're all here to help each
tips
other.
on those. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't have my my pastel pencil set here with me because we moved studios.
Yeah.
But I'm going to, let's see here. I know that the trolley has this thing right here. and it connects.
It's amazing you're doing
my-
this from no reference photo.
Well, it is what it is. I'm going to have that line fade away.
Oh, you have you have a drawing there. I see that. Yeah, so that helps.
Yeah, my sketch helps.
You want that line to
Thankfully.
fade away so you don't take them off the edge of the painting.
I'm getting very close to being done here, although this is very rudimentary. I mean, it's still very choppy looking, but for the most part, it has the bones of it. And let me get some sunshine on this as well.
Gloria is asking what other surfaces you use. Is UArt the only
Say that
surface
one more time, Eric.
What other surfaces do you use?
I couldn't hear what you said.
What other surfaces do you use? Oh, well, she's not hearing me. I tried.
Okay, say it again.
What other surfaces do you use?
Oh, okay, I heard you. I will prep my own surfaces. One time I was in a plein air event and I had a piece that really it was failing, so I had to find another panel, and I went to the art store, got a oil painting panel, just a panel, not a canvas panel, and I applied this grit gesso, and then I added pigment to the gesso as well, and that it gives you a really beautiful brushy quality, but it's very coarse. And but the beautiful thing about it is that it looks like um, an oil painting, with all the brushwork and everything. So
Have you tried
anyway,
velour?
I've done. Yes, I have. When I was first starting out, I tried velour, and that was great. That's good for flowers and other things. Portraiture sometimes. Yeah, I've done that.
Well, we're going to wrap up in 2 minutes.
Okay.
No pressure. It's looking good, though. Amazing what you pulled off here.
I don't know, Eric. Going into this, I was like nervous the week prior, but when I woke up today, I was doing all right. I'd already unpsyched myself out. So, being live on this stuff, it's not easy. I don't know
Well,
how
there's
you
no
do it.
reason to be nervous. There's only, by the end of the day, only 10, 12,000 people watching. It's not like there's
Thanks.
a million.
Oh, well, gosh. I'm just so glad you guys are all watching out there, out in internet land.
Internet land.
Yeah, internet land, online land, whatever you call it. I'm very loose with all of this,
It's looking
as you
great.
can tell.
Okay. Well, why don't you come back on camera and we'll say a quick goodbye.
Goodbye.
You did a terrific job there. How about applause?
Thanks, Eric.
Thumbs up and applause for Brenda Boylan. Brenda, your
Thank you,
website
Eric,
is
so much.
brendaboylan.com, and we can get your pastels there or from various art suppliers that sell Jack Richardson pastels, right? I think who was it just put something in there about one of the suppliers. I can't remember which one it was. Anyway.
Yeah, Jack Richardson and no, not Jack Richardson. That's the manufacturer. But Judson's, and I think it's I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But Judson's Art
Anyway, also
Supply.
too, yes, thank you, thank you. And there's 2 links on my website in the shop, on the shop link. And also too, I want to mention that I have a couple galleries that represent my work, the Mission Gallery in Utah and our Elements Gallery in Newberg, Oregon. So please go out and buy art.
Buy art. Yes. We all need to sell art right now, don't we?
Yes, we do. And actually, it's like buying your favorite friend and they're with no back. It's great to have real work in your home. It brings a sense of peace in your home. If
That's
you ever have
right.
your own original art,
Well, Brenda,
for those
thank
who
you for
don't
doing this
make 'em.
today. We loved having you. Sorry
Thank you
about
too, Eric.
the craziness at the last minute.
Yeah, thank you too, Eric. And a big thank you to my neighbor, Chaz Martin, for helping
Oh,
me
let's see a
out in the
piece of his
background with
sculpture.
all the
Chad, we want to see the Chad
Chad,
or see if,
you
come
got
on,
a
Chad, come on
sculpture?
screen real quickly.
You got a piece of sculpture? Here, let's take this.
Okay, we got to do this. That's only the right thing
Oops,
to
I just
do.
turned it off.
Uh-oh. It went black. We may have lost them. Oh, I hear them.
It went black.
The screens, we can hear you. The
I can
screen
hear
went
you,
black.
Eric.
Maybe you just
Yeah,
touch
I
it.
can hear
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to miss Chad today. Well, technology is always a challenge. At least some days it's a challenge. But Brenda stepped up and moved her studio downstairs to another location real quickly to get a better connection. So that was really great. A real trooper. Thumbs up and applause for Brenda Boylan. She did a great job today. Oh, she's back. Okay, good. Hang on. Yeah, we got, now we see it. Okay,
So
let's
point
see
the
some of
camera
the,
over at your work, Chaz.
ooh. Oh, fun. Nice. Chad, what's your website?
Not sure how much of that is visible.
It was visible.
Chaz,
What's your website?
CHASMartin.com.
CHASMartin.com.
Martin. Right.
Okay, somebody put that in the comments and we'll check it out. Good place for Christmas presents too.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you,
Thanks
Chaz.
so much, Eric, for everything you did.
Okay. All
Thanks
right.
for
Bye-bye.
hanging.
Well, what a day. Brenda Boylan. Thank you, Brenda. What a trooper. Well, want to remind you guys that we have Watercolor Live coming up and we have something new. I've actually not even seen it yet. So you and I are seeing it for the first time.
Have you ever wanted to learn to paint in watercolor but don't think you have the talent? Most master artists will tell you that painting is a skill anyone can learn. If you follow a process, you too can paint beautiful artwork. You could spend $3,000 or more to attend a live workshop or convention. Or you could learn from the world's finest for a fraction of the cost at Watercolor Live, the world's first virtual online art conference devoted to water media. 3 days of world-class artists demonstrating in portraiture, landscapes, still life, the human figure, cityscapes, color mixing, and more. Get to know other artists and instructors personally through our breakout sessions, and we'll even paint and draw together at the end of each day in the safety of your own home. Make new friends in our breakout sessions. Paint with hundreds of others. Get private access to our exclusive members group to become part of our community, and learn to take your artwork to a higher level. Watercolor Live, 3 full days of watercolor instruction from the world's best. January 28th to 30th. And for people who want to learn painting from scratch, start with our Beginner's Day on January 27th. Soon you'll be painting faces, people, flowers, scenery, objects, and other subjects. You'll see your artwork improve faster as you learn from top artists and instructors from all over the world. Make history as part of the world's first watercolor art conference. Sign up today and join the world as we learn art together from these amazing artists. Joseph Zbukvich, Linda Daly Baker, Jean Peterson, Mario A. Robinson, John Salmonen, Thomas W. Schaller, Suni Warren, Matthew Bird, Andy Evenson, Michael Holter, Pablo Rubin, Daniel Marshall, Lauren McCracken, Angus McEwen, Kim Minicello, Ian Stewart, Brenda Swenson, Keiko Tonabe, Stephen Zhang, Birgit O'Connor, Shuang Li, Antonio Masi, Larry Moore, Glenn Knowles, and many more to come. Why not use this time to learn a new skill so you can amaze your friends and family with your paintings? Watercolor Live, from the publishers of Plein Air Magazine and American Watercolor. Sign up by January 10th and save up to $500 off the retail price.
Well, it's kind of fun to see that for the first time. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Eric Rhodes, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air Magazine. Remember, keep your head in the game, stay positive, stay upbeat. Don't let any of this get you down. Put on your own mask before helping others, right? You gotta take care of yourself. You got to get yourself some oxygen, and oxygen comes from doing the things we love and making sure that you're doing something for yourself. Have a terrific day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.